Hi, Greg here, Kiwi Wanderers. Hey, this week we're going to be talking about what we did to our Ranger ute to get it ready to tow our 24-foot Jayco. So there's a couple of things that Jayco needed us to do, a couple of things that we legally need to do, and some extra things that we've put on as well. So stay tuned. Now, if you just joined us, Kiwi Wanderers is Holly the dog, Sandy, and myself, and we're travelling full-time in our caravan around this beautiful country. If you'd like to join our adventure and learn from our experiences and mistakes on the road, then please subscribe and push the bell so you don't miss a thing. First off, the reason we chose our 2019 Ford Ranger 3.2 XLT 4x4 Auto is because, one, we wanted a ute with a canopy so we could put the bikes in so they'd be out of the way. 3.2, we chose that because that's a proven drivetrain, been around for a while, reliability is pretty important. XLT, I really wanted a wild track, but one, they're more expensive, and two, you don't get quite as much payload in them. Yeah, so that's why we went with an XLT, the War Office one, pretty much. Automatic, because I'm not a very good because I like driving an automatic, and 4x4, so we have less chance of getting stuck when we're towing our 3-ton caravan around the countryside. Alright, so that's why we chose the ute. Okay, so Jayco requirements. So Jayco need us to have a brake controller, they need an Anderson plug at the back, they need some large fused wiring direct from the battery to the trailer plug, and they need some wiring for the camera arrangement, their 360-degree camera. So I'll go through that in detail. So the brake controller, we opted for the Red Arc brake controller back when we were gearing up the ute. If I had my time again, I'd definitely go for the white eye controller. Yeah, fantastic bit of kit, and if you want to see my reasoning, I did a little comparison between the two, and I did a little video, and I'll put the link up there. White eye, really easy to install the white eye. It would take you about 30 seconds to install the white eye, so yeah, that would be my preference. And you've legally got to have a brake controller with a caravan that's over 2.5 tonnes, so actually not sure that's true. Not sure it's 2-ton or yeah. Anyway, if you've got a large caravan, you've got to have a brake controller. Okay, the second thing, the second Jayco requirement was a Anderson plug. So they wanted an Anderson plug with positive and negative direct from the battery, and this wiring needed to be 10mm, so that's quite large. As part of that, I also fitted a isolating switch. It's a Red Arc isolating switch. Basically, when you turn the key off, it breaks the connection between the ute and the caravan, so that the caravan fridge can't drain the ute overnight if you leave it connected or something like that. That's fused, and that the fuse, of course, has to be as close to the battery as it can. So yep, that's what we've got that. The next Jayco requirement is a 5mm wires to pin 8 and 10, don't quote me on that. And this is to charge the batteries on the Jayco while you're driving along. Once again, that has to be fused. And yeah, when I installed this, I had use of a hoist. Thank you, Mobile Mechanical Solutions. Good guys. And then the final thing we had to do was put some wiring in for the 360-degree mirror. So you have to have a key feed, so a power when you turn the key on, and an earth and a connection to the reverse light, so that it activates the 360 in reverse. I thought I'd be a bit clever, and I'd put a switch on that so that I could turn the 360 on at any time. But the screen already has that facility, so yeah, it was a bit of a waste of time. I should have read the instructions more thoroughly, but you get that. Okay, so that's everything that we need for the Jayco. Next up was fitting the bikes in the back of the ute. Now, we want to do this for a couple of reasonable reasons, that we have them with us when we're tiki touring around the place. and security, obviously. And yeah, probably the other reason would be we didn't have a huge amount of capacity for weight in the Caravan. You know, the Caravan's is getting pretty close to maximum weight. Well, the whole thing's getting pretty close to maximum weight, but yep. We wanted to put the bikes in the ute, so what I've done is I have robbed a Subaru Outback bike mounting kit and adapted that to the back of the ute. Works really good. We obviously have to take our front wheels off and turn the forks around and clip the bikes into the, yeah, great, works really well. So that's the bikes all tucked away. The next thing, I knew I was going to take some tools away with us, and I wanted them to be nicely packed away in the ute. So we've got these swing out toolboxes. They were made for the Ranger, easy to fit. Bought them out of Australia, can't remember where. That's one of the advantages of buying a Ranger, is there's so much aftermarket stuff available for them. It's great. You can get it and get all sorts of stuff. The next thing we fitted was a transmission temperature gauge. All my years in the trade, I've seen lots of transmissions die through overheating, so I knew that I needed to keep an eye on that temperature. Yeah, I did a little video on fitting the transmission temperature gauge. Pretty easy type of thing to do. So I'll put a link up there to the transmission temperature video. It has actually saved us a couple of times on slow, steep hills. The transmission temperature's climbed up and we've just backed off or slowed right down, so it gives the transmission a bit of time to get back to normal temperature. The gravel road on the way to Robin Hood Bay springs to mind. It's one of the toughest roads we've been on, but yep, so I definitely recommend that. I might have to fit a transmission cooler in the future, but it's on the Ranger it's a bit of a major. You've got to disassemble half the transmission to bypass the thermostat, and oh yeah. But anyway, I will need to get approval from the War Office to get that one over the line. The next thing, I wanted to fit some spotlights to the Ranger, but the Ranger that we got has had an LED upgrade on the lights, and yeah, they're great, fantastic, works really good. So that's one thing I didn't have to do. The next thing we've got is the breakaway alarm. Now this was included from Jayco. You don't have to have it for the breakaway system to work, but if the breakaway system's not working, then it will beep and flash lights and do all sorts to let you know that. I think it might be a requirement in some states in Australia, not sure, but that's why it was included. It's really easy to install. Yeah, plug it into the cigarette lighter and away you go. And the next thing we fitted in was the dog seat. So when we first started travelling, Holly the dog was very skittery. She was all over the place and wouldn't stay still and was obviously very nervous. We bought some drugs and that settled her down, but that was obviously not a long-term thing. So we're in the pet shop and saw this car seat. We've thrown that in and made a huge difference. She now just sits in there and is very calm, and yeah, it's great. It's worked really well. So it's either she's got used to the car or she feels more secure because maybe the dog basket was slipping around on the back seat or something under brakes, I don't know, or she can now see out the window. So one of those three things has sealed her down, and it's been a very worthwhile addition. So that's basically all we've done to our ute. I do have a couple of things on the wish list, as I said, an oil cooler probably, and maybe some upgraded rear springs, or maybe airbags for the rear springs, not sure. Just have to see how we get on with the War Office, really. It's what it comes down to. Now, with all this stuff on our ute, I know that we're nice and safe, and I really enjoy towing our Caravan. I look forward to it. It's good to know everything's all set up well and it handles well, and the ute performs great, and you've got no dramas. So it's been worthwhile, all the things that we've done, so it's good. Okay, that's it. I hope you got something out of the video. I enjoy making them. I see that we're over 500 subscribers now, and it still gives me a little smile every time someone subscribes to the channel, so I appreciate that when you do that. If you don't know how to subscribe, which some people don't, I've found out recently, I'll put a little link to someone else's video up there. It tells you how to subscribe to a YouTube channel, so might be helpful. Yeah, we've got some stuff coming up in the tech tips, which will be good. And yeah, see you next time. Thanks for watching.